Welcome back to another episode of Thankful Thursdays. Today, we will be talking about pressing forward towards your calling. Pressing forward towards your calling. And a lot of times we tend not to know what our calling is. Sometimes we think we know what our calling is because we heard somebody say what our calling is, but we can't believe what everybody says. Sometimes we believe what other people say what our calling is, but if God didn't tell you that was your calling, why believe it? If God didn't say out of his word or out of his mouth that is your calling, why would you believe it? If you don't know what your calling is, ask God to reveal your calling. But if you want to know what your calling is, you gotta let go of things that is distracting you, that is keeping you bound, that is keeping you away from God. Sometimes we let our flesh overtake our mind, our body, and our spirit, but God is trying to have his way in our life, but we let other people, speak over our life. We don't go to the resource, which is the Bible. We don't go to God. We don't ask him, what is my calling? What do you want me to do on this earth? We believe what everybody else says. And sometimes everybody else's calling that they speak over our life ain't true. If God didn't call you to be a minister, a pastor, and we can go on and on down the list, then that's not your calling. If God didn't call you to be that, that's not your calling. We gotta, move forward. We gotta be thankful for, the purpose and the identity that he has over our lives. In Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, will I help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." Fear not. Don't fear to ask God, what is your calling? Don't fear to be ashamed of your calling. But how can God be there for us if we're going to everybody else to find out what our calling is? How can God strengthen us if we leaning on everybody else? We leaning on the pastor, we're leaning on the first lady, we're leaning on people in church and our family. But God is saying, I knew what you was before you was created to be on this earth. God knew what he wanted you to do before we became who we are now. Before we became a male, a female, whatever you are. God knew what we were going to be. God knew the mistakes and the sins and all that. He knew what we were going to do. But sometimes we let our sins overtake us. And sometimes we don't let God have his way. God can't move unless you make a change. God can't move unless you let go of some things that you've been bound to keep. Sometimes we hold grudges. We hold hurt. We hold a lot of stuff. And sometimes you got to let it go. You got to let God have his way. God saying, I am with you. I'm holding your hand. I'm pushing you, but I can only push you so far. If you're not putting in the work and you're not abiding by my word, it's only so far I can push you. It's only so far I can push you towards your calling. Because we ask everybody else, what is my calling? What am I supposed to do on this earth? If you want your calling, go to God. Go to God. Pray. Ask. Fall to your knees and ask. It doesn't take much. But once God reveals that calling unto you, Everybody can't walk on the same path that God created you to walk on. Everybody cannot join the journey. You can't get mad because somebody got this calling and you got that calling. You can't get mad because somebody got this calling that you wanted, but God gave it to somebody else. Because you don't know that your calling might be bigger and greater than the person calling that you want. So in doing this season, let's press towards our calling. Let's find out what our calling really is. Our calling from God is everything that we need now. Especially, time is ticking. God is coming back sooner than we think. So I pray and hope that this touches somebody, and I will see y'all next week.